Hey, everybody. Welcome to KISS.
Keep it simple, sister.
Hey, Diana.
Hi, Samantha. How's it
I was
going?
about to say it's going before you even said how's it going.
It's going. It's about to go.
It's going. You guys ready for this to go? It's going. Okay. We're a little bit punchy. That happens. It's the time of day. Wait, I was about to say, because do you see how bright it is behind here? It means it's late afternoon, but the brightness went
Nobody can
away.
see that.
Yeah,
No
isn't
one
that
can see
weird?
that.
It just went, phoom. Okay. Um, Welcome to the KISS podcast, where Diana and I talk about all of the tips, tricks, and techniques that we have employed and products throughout the years that give us these. It was like incrementally we began to integrate all of this into our lives. And we did it because we wanted to feel increasingly better. Wait, did we even know we were doing it? Most of the time, we didn't even know we were.
No, we didn't know we were doing it. And then when we compared notes, we realized that we both kind of have done the same thing over the years.
Much along the line, the same path. And once the explosion of worlds occurred, when Diana and I met, it was like such rapid fire exchange of all kinds of information. We realized how we had pulled all of these things that we talk about on a daily basis and want to share with you guys, how we integrated all this into our lives and how it's made our lives vastly improved and easier to deal with the highs and lows that we face, and how we always look on the bright side of things and stuff. So, yeah, our tagline, we say that we're feeling great by feeling better. And it's that all you have to do is just feel better and a little bit better and a little
Just
bit
a little
better,
bit, a little
and
bit,
all of a
a
sudden
little bit, a
you're
little
great.
bit. Yeah. And so we wanted to share, some of the ways that we've found along our path
Mhm.
of how to do that, how to feel a little bit better. And so you have a great day.
I love that.
Yes.
It's so cool. Um, and so as we share these conversations, just know we're inviting you in to learn some new concepts, or feel free to comment below just when you feel like, wow, that makes sense, or yeah, I've wondered about that. Because
For my new tagline,
uh,
That's so fucking interesting.
yeah, pop that one down there. I love that.
Or however you want to say it. That's how
Yeah,
I'm going to say it.
yes. It's just that we want you to feel like you're a part of this conversation is really
Which
what
is
it is.
what we have every day, conversations about all the things.
So
And
many
so
possibilities.
sometimes we're sharing some of the things, sometimes we come across something that we're talking about and we're like, that would be a great idea for a podcast. That's what started the whole podcast to begin with.
Exactly. Let's just share this
Other
with
people want to
everyone.
know about some of these things that we're talking about and revelations that we make to each other.
Exactly. So I'm just going to jump in because we haven't done this for a while. Who we are, why we're doing this podcast. I mean, I said the why, but I'm a spiritual life coach, slash medium, intuitive, I don't know, energy channeler, whatever, dot, 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 mentor. Um, so these concepts are mainly geared towards the spiritual and life coach kind of thing, how to improve your life. But we throw a lot of woo woo in there as well. And Diana, share your background so they know where you're
I
coming.
am a retired elementary school teacher who has been kind of on a quest to figure out what else since I retired. And Abraham Hicks and Law of Attraction kind of drew me into this world. And then once met Samantha, she's blown my mind and continues to. And so we realized that we were kindred spirits right away, and shared some of our past and how things have worked out for us, and we kind of have led sort of parallel lives a little bit. We're the same age, 2 days apart. We're Aries. We kind of react to things similarly
Yeah.
and have become really good friends. And so I have all of these questions about all of the things that Samantha knows about all of. And I think, along the way, I've shared some of my insights in things, but I have more questions than answers.
Mhm.
And Samantha has the answers for me usually, or can direct me to where I need to start to figure it out.
Yes, exactly. I love that. And it's a two-way street. We don't tend to, well, I guess I do bring it up. But Diana, through her teaching and stuff, like she has a different perspective on things, a more scientific look at things, more methodical way of looking at things. But also, I tend to be not up in the air, like, but I deal with ADD aspects. Um, and so she's helped me. It's been a two-way relationship, because that has helped me so much how she understands how all that works, and has led me in different directions. But also just having you ask these questions, they say like questions are the steering of the mind, and it moves
Yeah.
us into a deeper exploration. And so I get more stuff coming to me because I have someone who's asking the questions, kind of like if you're familiar with Abraham Hicks and how Abraham Hicks operates, where Esther got so deep into this because Jerry Hicks had questions and would ask her, and
And
it
she
kind
would
of,
channel the answers.
and it rolled from there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Uh,
Well, and then when I came up when I dove into all of this stuff, it was hard for me because my master's degree is in curriculum instruction and science. So I had kind of have that mathematical science brain a little bit.
yeah.
And so like in a science fair, somebody has to prove something to me. Like there's a question and then there's a procedure and then you come up with a conclusion.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the way my brain works. So I'm kind of always looking for that, give me the proof, give me the proof, give me the proof, give me the proof. And Samantha's answering my questions and I'm watching her channel and I'm hearing her channel and I'm seeing all the things. So I'm getting the proof
hmm
and now I'm all in. So fucking interesting.
Well, and that leads us to our topic today, which is proof driven. Um, we are going to talk about um, how to get guidance from your higher self. Like, a lot of times you can't see the forest for the trees, and you may choose to go to someone like me, an intuitive, um, or you ask all your friends for advice and everything, but they're not walking in your shoes. They don't know what your path is. They do
Yeah.
their best, but really reaching up to that higher aspect of yourself
Well, and
that, huh?
oh, I was just going to say, and what I didn't realize was reaching up to that higher aspect of yourself is when you have an intuition or just a gut feeling about something, or
Yeah.
those little nudges that sometimes you listen to, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel you're like, "Eh, it just doesn't feel right for some reason."
hmm
That's what's happening, but I never had a name to put to it. I didn't understand what the process was.
I love that. Yeah. So now you knew. You really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
Uh,
kinda.
so, it's really important to as someone who explains all this stuff to people as a way shower, whatever, is to empower people.
Mhm.
And so learning how to get these answers yourself. Yes, I love to be there and guide and, all of the things, but I always show my clients a variety of methods to get the information themselves. Because that's so important, that because you have the power within you, you just have forgotten it and you need to be reminded, which is a
Well, and
interesting.
that was what I was gonna say, that one of the most powerful things that I've learned from you is that we can all do this.
Mhm.
We have it. We've just kinda pushed it down and aside and backwards and whatever.
Suppressed.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and as you bring it forward, and I jokingly say to Samantha, "What do your people have to say?" And that's, it's her guides and her higher self, and now I'm starting to kind of feel what my people are trying to tell me, my higher self, because I've slowed down
Yeah.
and given myself permission to listen to it, to feel it, and I don't really hear voices. It's
Mhm.
just something that comes across my brain and I'm like, "Hmm, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a
Where'd that
thought.
come from?"
I always just, yeah, describe it as it's a thought that's suddenly in your head that wasn't there before, and there was no
Right.
lead into it, it's just suddenly there.
Yeah, and a lot of times it has nothing to do with what you were thinking about or doing,
Mhm.
and just all of a sudden, wham, it's there.
Exactly. So cool.
Yes.
So, we're going to talk about a couple of methods. Because like people will come to see me and ask questions like, how do I know if, like, I mean, you could take it everything from, and I'm not a doctor, but you could take it from like medical conditions, like, should I get a second opinion? Which you always should. Um, but
The answer to that without asking my higher self is yes.
Yeah. But like, is this the right, say it's the right medicine for me? Or is this food causing issues in my body? Or if I go out tonight, is this really the best decision for me to make? Because I'm kind of not sure. And all of these are all yes, no questions. Um, like what you're saying, Diana, is that you're starting to listen to, giving yourself permission to listen to more full-on messages or fragments of messages, maybe is
Right.
the way to put it.
Yeah.
Um, but starting out until you're at that point, and even once you are at that point, if you need a quick yes or no from your higher self, then there are methods to do this. That it's like playing 20 questions, and oftentimes you have to ask the same question or
Couple different
alter it.
ways.
Yeah, yeah, a couple of
Yeah.
different ways so that you're making sure that you're not giving, like, double negatives and stuff like that, but there's several ways to do it. So, like, some of you may have been to what?
Oh, I was just gonna say, and these were the things that helped me have the proof. Helped
Yeah,
me realize that I was on the right track and yes, I should listen to myself.
yeah, bringing the opening, around a full
Kinda
circle,
open the door, like, kinda opening the door and
mhm,
seeing what's behind it, but for me, the science fair had to take place, and so these these methods were my science fair.
yep, that's so cool. So, a lot of this stems from kinesiology, I guess, muscle testing, uh, and some of it is through, just the vibrations of your body, the electro whatever you call it, of your body. I'm gonna get very technical here. The electro whatever,
Well,
your
apparently we are energetic beings and there's energy all around us, which I didn't really realize, but that's the way an electrocardiogram works when you do an EKG. Like all of those, an MRI, I think too, like the magnetic resonance, something, I don't know what that stands for, but a lot of the science, a lot of the medical machines and stuff
yeah,
are measuring that energy.
yeah, yep, the vibration of things.
Mhm.
So when, let's start with, because some people may have had this experience. When you go to a chiropractor or someone who does alternative health,
Mhm.
um, they'll do a form of kinesiology where you put your, I'm going to slide over this way, you put your arm out and they will test for things that are interfering with your electric field. All right. So your arm will be out like this. I'll put it in front and they will there's a way to like have your hand like this, so like one's positive and one's negative. I don't know which way it is, because this is something that you do to another person, and I haven't learned how to do this yet, but I've had it done to me many times. But your hands out here and they'll say yes, your hand stays strong. And if they say no and they just turn their hand the other way, it gives way. Like they'll be pressing against it with one hand and then doing the yes or no with the other. And your hand will just drop away. Like if it's negative, it's bad for you or whatever, it falls away. So they can take different it could be allergens, it could be medicines, it could be all kinds of different things. I mean, some um, chiropractors will have these huge kits, like full of, and test you for everything or whatever. And they're bringing it into your auric field, all right, that field of energy around you. And they'll just hold it up. And if it's not good for your body, your hand will fall. Or if it's something that, like, say they're testing for metals in your body And so they'll bring a metal, they'll put that metal against you, and if your body is strong for it, then it'll drop or it'll stay. I can't remember which. So they know. But anyway, so that's again, that is someone externally doing it, but that is kinesiology. So now you can do kinesiology on yourself by the ring. They said like the ring test or whatever, the finger test,
Mhm.
where you hold this really firm and you grab your other hand and you try to pull it apart. Okay. So, and you don't like do it really hard. It's just like kind of a gentle thing.
Mhm.
So, if you were asking a question, and I'm trying to do this where it's there, I am.
You can see it well. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Where, if it's yes, it stays strong. And if it's no, it gives way. And so, this is something you could do with yourself and just go, you test yourself by first saying, show me yes. And if it holds strong,
Oh, I was just gonna say, and you can also test it with, "My name is,"
yes.
and
Yep.
like, something that's absolute
Yeah.
that you and your body and your higher self know the answer to, and then you can see which way is the yes or no.
Yeah. Well, you also want to then give yourself a false name.
Right.
My name is so and so, and then it'll release because that's false. Yeah. So that's one way. This works for some people. And it
I have
does.
a hard time with that one. The
Yeah.
arm one works for me, and then you also can stand like in front of your this is what works for me a lot that I've used.
Mhm.
Stand in front of like your bathroom sink,
Yep.
and you you either like kind of sway forward for yes, backward for no, or at least that's what I do.
Mhm.
What my body does because I say my name is Diana and then my body will sway and it's just an it can be imperceptible or it can be just like boom.
Mhm.
Um, and so that's the way I do it because I couldn't really get the arm thing or this thing working for me where it was absolutely clear
Mhm.
what the answer was and there's no way that I could have changed that by going like this or you know what I mean like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not moving my body and so for me that is much more valid but everybody kind of has there are different ways to do it and things that oh can you talk about the
Well, wait. Let me finish. Let's talk about one
okay
of them at a time. She's like, one of the next one. I'm going, no.
wait there's
Um,
more.
So with this, this is doing the standing, yes or no is it's good for any situation, but it's especially helpful for like when you go to the grocery store. Say you're getting over the counter medication and you're wondering, do I need something that has, say, guafenicin in it, or do I need something that has dextromethorphan in it, or whatever? And so you can go up and grab the product and you just bring it into your auric field and you just say, is this what my body needs? And you're just standing there holding it and you'll imperceptibly move forward or back. I mean, you have to first ask, show me yes, show me no, because your polarity can change, but generally it stays the same, but you always need to check it that first. And then, then you hold it and ask, is this what my body needs? And your body will go yes or no, fall forward or back just slightly. And nobody knows what you're doing. You don't want to make it like you don't have to hold it so close like you're about to pickpocket it. But or, swipe it, whatever. But, and then, set it down, grab the next thing and say, "Is this what my body needs?" And you can say, "Is this what my body needs? Is this better for my body? Is there something better than this?" And you'll fall forward, yes, if there's something that it feels like around you that would be better. Um, so that's like super effective that you can do in public. And because, you stand there and you look at all this stuff going, I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know
guess I could do
yeah
the thing with Tylenol, but your body might go, "Do not do something with Tylenol right now. It will not be good for your body."
hmm
So it's a super great way to just get information feedback. I find that, one of the most helpful ways. Um,
one of the things that I've done like that is the
Mhm.
store brand and the name brand.
Oh, because sometimes they're
Sometimes they're the
close.
same and sometimes they're not really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Oh,
interesting.
that is excellent. Well, like, case in point, had my husband done that, he wouldn't have brought home the cheap version of dish soap. So he brought home, something else other than Dawn. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
Dawn wins.
Oh, yeah.
It's thicker, it's
Hands down.
better, And this other stuff was so like I wouldn't have needed to see the viscosity of it to know that it's not going to work as well. But
Yeah.
but doing that test, you would have known right off the bat because it
Yeah.
would know your preferences too. Um, so I love that. That's perfect. Anything else with the standing one? And we don't have name like it's just the standing yes or no test. I don't know if there's a specific name. If you guys have heard of this before and you know that there's a specific name for it, feel free, put it in the comments because I haven't ever heard of
Well,
any.
and if I see it somewhere, we'll add it in, but we keep saying that and I never do it.
Mm.
So just so you know,
And
I have good intentions.
we won't do the woo woo one yet. We'll do the one that that I always teach this to my clients. Because this is a super good one to do. Um, so the first thing this is where you have the feels. Where if something is a positive, like you're just sitting there, and if something is a positive, you feel expansion. And if something is a negative or a lie, you feel contraction. And generally, the expansion occurs chest up and the contraction occurs in the gut. But you could have contraction in the gut because you're excited but nervous, so there's a couple of, that's why you got to
What
ask.
about gassy? What if you were gassy? Okay,
Possibly.
back to business. Back to business.
I don't know. Could be. Um,
If you had refried beans.
yeah. What if you had some, what is it? Our detox tea. Um, could be clenching.
Yeah,
Um, so I have people like usually when I'm doing this with clients to get them to understand the feeling they're looking for, I'll have them close their eyes and I'll say, I want you to think of something that makes you really happy, whether it's a child or a pet, or a moment in time. I just want you to clue in on that. And I get them to really, really focus in on it and build it up. And then I'm like, where do you feel this in your body? And the reason why I do it this way is because so many of us aren't listening to our bodies. We're just totally oblivious. So I'm trying to get you to clue in to exactly where. And so, they'll say, wow, I feel light. I feel so good. I feel happy. And I'm like, okay, so that's up here, right? And yeah,
expansive.
then I'll bring them to like, okay, when did your child say they mentioned a child? I'd say, when did your child really tick you off? Do something that really made you angry. And they'll clue in on that. And I'm like, where do you feel that? And they'll be like, ooh, in the gut. And I'm like, and how does it feel? It feels tight. So I get them to really identify the feeling, the space around them so that they're really clued in. Um, and then, I'll get them to say their name. I'd go through several steps because I want them to really dial it in, know what it feels like. Scientific method, got to do it over and over,
You
right?
got it. Yes, repeated trials.
And so then, it's like, okay, so you're considering this move to a new house. And I want you to really put yourself like you've put the money down, you're doing the process, you're getting ready. Now you've moved into the house, you're there, all your stuff's there, and, fully committed, you're into it. How do you feel? And they might have a little contraction because a little bit of buyer's remorse kind of thing. So a lot of times I'll move them down 3 months down the road. And this is always important to kind of gauge it with time as well. And I'll say, you've been there 3 months, you're paying your bills and it's everything's, like you got a routine set and everything. How do you feel being in this house? And they're just like, it does not feel right. It does not like no, I feel it in my gut. Like this is just, and so I'm getting them to play out, go down their own timeline, check with their higher self, bouncing ideas off. How is this going to feel? How is this going to be? And you'll get the response back, yes or no, contraction or expansion. So you can use this for anything, like any situation. You're role playing it out. How does this feel? So it's a little bit different than getting the yes or no because you're getting more breath, breath, breadth
A
and depth.
broader, yeah, and
Yeah.
depth. Yeah.
Any more questions about that one?
No, and until you try it a few times, like Samantha uses it with me all the time. Where do you feel that? How does it feel? I don't know. Okay, let me try.
And feelings are so important. Like it's because we're so lazy about it, but our higher self is sending these messages all the time, giving you the nudges, like
Hmm.
Diana was saying at the beginning. They give you those nudges, those, whatever's. And so this is just a way to expand it and really dive in and embrace how it feels. Um, but it's like, because clients will come in and they're like, I don't know which way to go with this job offer. I'm not sure. And the
Mhm.
thing is, I usually go, okay, hold on. I'm going to go in and intuit this for you. I'm going to explore this, but I would like you to do this first because again, I'm trying to empower and give them that feeling of what it's
Yeah.
like. And then I go in and I'll do the nitty gritty and then explain all the circumstances and all that other stuff. Um, Anything else with that? Because that's really a good one. So
Okay. And
far,
I don't know if this is woo woo or not, but you know how sometimes you're talking and that hair stands up on your arms?
yeah,
You get like goose pimples or whatever.
confirmations.
That's confirmation and pay attention to it.
Hmm.
It's really interesting because sometimes I'll be talking about something. I'm like, see, yep, because I'll feel it or I'll see it. But in the past, I never would have paid any attention to that.
See, I love that. I love that
Yeah.
you're so aware of that now.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of times we'll say, does this resonate with you? I had a client today who kept saying, yeah, that tracks, you know, and it's like she's feeling it
Yeah.
out
That
and
makes
going, yeah,
sense.
this
That,
all
yeah, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of,
It's all
um,
going, putting it all together.
yeah. So that resonating is energy. It's
Uh
vibing
huh.
with you. So it's either vibing with you or it's not. So it's like all of this
Well,
stuff.
and you have to be open to figure it out because if you just kept blasting through and moving on, that's what I used to always do.
Yeah.
I've had to really slow myself down and say, let's think about this. Let's feel it.
Mhm.
It what didn't come naturally to me,
Well, no, as
but
a
it's
teacher,
becoming more and more natural.
yeah, as a teacher, you wouldn't have had like, and just think like as a teacher, you're sitting there pushing the students from like, because you have to from one thing to the next. So they're not listening to their higher self and
Mhm.
you're not listening to your higher self. Like everyone's just kind of, but I say that and I don't mean to give that a bad rap in a sense that as a teacher, I think you're using your intuition a lot.
Oh, all day
Yeah.
long with yeah. And you can see in a kid's face or eyes whether they're getting it or not.
Yep.
And if they're not, so that's an energy kind of thing too that I never really put a finger on.
Hmm.
But yeah, the best teachers are really tuned in to their students.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess it's empathic. I never thought about it that way, but it has to be.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're definitely if you feel that connection, if you're involved, and if you're not, you probably shouldn't be
Teaching. Get
not
out.
with kids at least, it's
Yeah.
it because it's so much about the I think about the feels.
Yes.
Okay, so I think this is the last one. We might think of another one. But the last one, which is more I say it's more woo-woo just because you're using crystals, but it doesn't matter. Like,
Mhm.
um, it's because it's still yes or no.
This is the one that I was excited about. And yes,
Crystal.
the pendulums.
So this was my first pendulum, and this is a citrine, and when I'm doing grounding, um, I am, I imagine threads coming out from my root chakra, my butt bone, and going down into the earth and wrapping themselves around a citrine. Um,
Mm.
and it has some significance to me, but it's just whatever draws your eye, whatever captures your
Mhm.
eye. It's not like this is going to read better than this.
Mhm.
Maybe with some people, yeah, I'm trying to keep it up higher. And let me see if I can bring that a little bit closer. The other one is I can't stop moving. It's a tiger eye.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
you couldn't see it
kind of
until you
hard.
just did that.
Yeah, just kind of dark. So with these, and the chains are so old. I really have to get new chains for these, but it doesn't really matter. Um, so the important thing with these is that
Go up a
electric
little higher. Hold it up a little higher. There you go. Yeah.
is that electricity is conducted through water. So if you're dehydrated, you will find that you don't get as big of a response. Um, so
That's
that's
new news to me. That's interesting. Okay.
but scientifically, that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So it's
But
a
I didn't yeah.
yeah,
I couldn't. the crossover, the connection.
It's so
Makes
cool how
sense.
all this works. So I remember the first time when I first got this, and these women, I was in the circle group with these women who they all kind of knew what was going on. There's a couple of us that didn't know. And they're just like, no, you need to drink water so you get a response. And I'm sitting there guzzling down like cup after cup because I'm like, I'm gonna get a response. um, so you just hold it in front of you. I know I have to keep making sure that I'm
Yeah,
bringing it.
keep it up high. There you go. That's perfect.
So you hold it as steady as you can, and you don't have to worry. It's not like you're going to start doing this and making it go the direction you want.
Mhm.
It will just naturally start going the way that you want it to go, or the way that you want it to go, the
Yeah,
way
yeah.
that it's meant to go, whatever your answer or question is. So you just try to keep it as steady as you can. And then you say, like, I'm asking it to, and you can ask it to stop and it'll literally stop. So I'm doing that in my mind. Okay, so show me yes. So it's going around like this.
In
But for
circles, but
me,
very small little circles.
yeah, I do very small little circles and I have to say, make it bigger. So let me see.
Mm.
Show me yes. And it's harder when it's a shorter chain too. Show me yes. And I'm sorry, my arm's weakening now, so I'm messing with it. And then I'll say make it bigger and it'll do it a little bit bigger. So with this, I know my hand keeps going down. Um, I'll say show me yes and then show me no. Sometimes yes goes around in a circle. Sometimes yes will go back and forth. It's so weird. And sometimes no usually goes the opposite way, just a circle. It doesn't usually go back and forth. So it's like really kind of
Well, and for me, yes goes in a circle and no goes back and forth always.
yeah, that's weird.
So, and that's why it's important to say, show me so you know what you're seeing.
Yeah, so that's your what do you call that in science? Your
Baseline?
yeah,
Or, your keep going, it'll come to me.
yeah, okay. Basically
Control, your
some
control.
control. Okay, control. So that's the control. And then you can start asking questions, and it's like 20 questions. Um, it's kind of like you have a pet crystal, really. You get quite attached to it. And so you begin to ask it, show me yes, show me no. Um, I'm is this medication the right medication? Should I take this trip? Should I do whatever? And it'll start moving around. So you want to make sure your arm's stable enough to support it. Sometimes you have to kind of just stop it like that. But because your hand's shaking, it's always going to move a little bit, which then makes people say,
Oh,
okay,
you're making it do that.
yeah.
But when you do it yourself, you realize you're not.
And you're holding it from like way up here,
Yeah.
asking it to stop. Okay. Now show me no. Show me
Just
no
going
bigger.
counterclockwise.
Pretty wild, huh?
Mhm.
Ooh, I just did woo woo right on.
Yeah, you did, right in front of us all.
Okay, please stop. And sometimes, I have to move my arm up just to make it stop a little bit. Now, I knew this one woman who, the one who taught me this stuff. When she does this, her hands, not moving, but this thing is going boom, boom, like I mean, almost
Wow.
parallel to her hand. Like it is just or parallel to the floor. I've never seen anyone like have it just whip around like that. It's crazy. She's done a lot of clearing, a lot of work like that. She's a pretty amazing person. Um, but anyway, so this is super fun because I always encourage people go to a crystal store and have fun with it. Just see what like it always works this way. When you go into a crystal store, something will call to you, and you'll
Well,
walk.
and Samantha told me that, and I went in and I was like, "Yeah, right." But I walked in and it was like I got this feeling that I needed to go toward whatever crystal it was, and then if there were a few right in there, I would just reach for one. Like it draws you in. What you're supposed to have, you get.
Uh-huh. Well,
Crazy.
you've heard reference of the cat distribution system.
Mm-mm, I don't
You
think.
seriously haven't? It's where well, like what happened to our friend Karen, where a cat chose her. It just showed up came to her door and said, "You're my person." That's the cat distribution system at work. Cats just find their owners, and
I
then
did
it's
not know that. I've never heard of that.
well,
That's
this is the
interesting.
crystal distribution system. Yeah, where you just walk into a place and you're just called. You might walk out with 2 or 3, and it's just
Well, and on different days, you need different ones speak to you. Apparently, I've only been to the crystal shop one time.
makes no sense to me. How can you just go one time?
I don't know, but I can't find my pendulum. That's what she's using now. So I'm
Oh,
gonna
I
have to go
didn't
get
call
another one.
yeah, I didn't say that's a pendulum.
Yeah, it's a pendulum.
Yes. Um, yeah, and there's like you can make pendulums out of a lot of different things. You could use you try to get it as balanced as you can, but anything that's just a weight, you could take a
Right.
fish lure, fish weight and do it.
Yeah, or just a washer
Yeah,
on
so it's
string will do it too.
yeah, that's a good yeah. So, I just am into the woo and I love my crystals and this one's especially
That
shiny
one's beautiful.
and it's got all these occlusions in it and so it's
Very
just like
pretty.
it's my baby. I've had it over like 20.
I have a good friend whose son is getting engaged, and the his fiance to be wants a citrine ring as her engagement ring. And my friend is beyond upset about the fact that she doesn't want a diamond and she thinks that it's ridiculous that she wants a citrine.
Oh my God. Like that,
But it's what she wants, so that's what she's gonna get. But she's like, it just doesn't seem right to me.
my daughter has an emerald and she loves her emerald, and her
Well, and again, it's whatever speaks to you. Now, my friend is a very traditional girl, my age, or close to our age. And back in the day, you got a diamond ring when you got engaged. That's what you did.
but you know what you got before that? You got a citrine or an emerald or a ruby. So,
Really?
yeah, I mean, that is only that has been marketed to us that you get diamond
Interesting.
rings because before it
Yeah.
was any
All
kind of
right. Well, I will tell her that, and maybe she'll feel better.
yeah, please do. Like, you can look it
Yeah.
up and send her an article on it. Like,
Okay, I will.
it's yeah, anyway. Um, so these are a couple of different ways just for you guys to be able to have fun, embrace, try it yourself, and see how you can, get the answers yourself. It's so much fun to do. I didn't stand up and do the whole thing. I think I did in one of our videos, and I was kinda like, "Yeah, nobody needs to see that again." But they all work, and you just have to figure out
Well, just
what's your
try it.
go-to.
It's amazing. Just try it.
Mhm. Um, so before we end here, I wanna remind everybody that, we're gonna be doing the free group coaching. So you join the you'll hear about it either through my Fire Within Me mail list or through our Kiss podcast Facebook group. And we encourage you to become a member there so you can get that. Well, of course, you're hearing it here, but the links will be given to people in the podcast group and via the email. There'll be set times each week, probably offered at 2 different times, and you can attend both. This is free spiritual life coaching, which means all the topics that we talk about throughout all of this, they will be brought up and you'll be able to ask questions and say, well, how do I apply this to my life? Or I'm having this problem. Which tool's the best for me? And we'll go through and explain all this stuff to you. And this is going to be all done for I always kind of go when I say this, but like a love offering, it's pay as you go, however much you feel that it's been worth it to you. And as Diana
And
likes,
invite your friends.
yeah, and as Diana likes to say, y- once you try it, then you understand the value of it. Once you get into,
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, like, I can tell you all day long how valuable it is and how much it's helped me, but when you see it in action, it's just a whole 'nother ball of wax. So, definitely make the time, join us,
please do.
jump in.
Yep. And then subscribe, like, comment, let us know if this is on track, any other information on track, listen to me,
There you
or
go.
any other information you want to hear. And we'll do a video on it for you.
Sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's about it for today,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.